we're going to be talking about summer plans and what's going on. Greg's already started his summer. Yeah, the computer's just lagging a little.
What are you guys paying for gas right now per gallon?
Oh, crazy amount.
We're paying like almost $7 now.
Wow.
It's $7 at some gas stations. I got your mainstream gas station for Chevrons and Mobiles is $7.
All right.
So you go to Costco, it's still on. It's like $6.
Oh yeah, I pay $6. So hey, let me just introduce the video. So this is the Shop Class Podcast. Tonight's kind of a loose roundtable, end of the year shop teacher discussion and what's going on, summer plans, whatnot. We already looked at Greg is on break starting today, and he is already like breaking records with the Arden vehicles. Let me see.
The Ardema, yeah.
Ardema, that's it.
Yeah, they did
it. Let me share my
screen.
That
was on Sunday. They did it on Sunday.
That is so cool.
Yeah, about a minute and a half in is the run. You can forward it to when they get in the truck and push it off. Pretty cool.
This is great. I like that the truck has like a side window thing. It's kind of like a food truck.
Yeah, I don't think the audio's on though.
No, I left it off because I'm not sure how the YouTube thing works. If I leave it on, is that a violation or something?
No.
Okay. All right. Let me see.
I'm not gonna diss on you. It's my video.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, yeah, don't get me in trouble here. All right, let me share that one right there. Then I'm gonna hit mute.
Shot of nitrous. The engine designation for today's run is classified as a D category. Scott will have to go over 226.2 miles per hour to make it an official record. The record has been on the books since November of 2012, which was set by Ed Finn. 240. Got the Hans device on, looking good.
So here you see Scott, it's getting ready. Cal Roth is helping him with his safety gear, such as arm restraints and so on.
I see you got these the tells, the little air tells to see how the aerodynamics is doing.
Yeah, it's called tufting. Yeah, I put a GoPro outside of the car because we knew we'd be in the 225 mile per hour range, and so we wanted to see what the aerodynamics of the car was doing at above 200.
Wow.
And that's the poor man's wind tunnel.
Yeah.
A GoPro and some string.
I just did a wind tunnel with my students. We made one from scratch out of cardboard.
That's cool.
Yeah, and what we did, we don't have any smoke or anything, but what we did was we just put a tow hook on the car, and the harder the wind pushes on the car, the tow hook takes a right-hand turn, it goes up, and then it goes up to the top outside the tunnel, and it pulls on a scale, so we could measure how much the car is being pulled on. It's not really like a scientifically accurate, but it is a number that you can make improvements on. So it pulls down it'll pull like 20 grams, and then the kid covers the windows, and now it pulls 15 grams. And so it does work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All right,
we're gonna get him into the car and get him on the way here shortly.
Gotta add.
Yeah, gotta add.
Thanks, man. You're getting me like 12 cents right there.
There you go. Okay, I didn't skip, so we'll get you the full amount.
Oh, that's okay. You can skip it.
All right.
Get right to the meat and potatoes. That's the good part.
All right, here we go.
So how fast are we going today?
232, 227.
No, 232.
Oh, 232. Oh, okay.
Just go.
That's our number.
300.
We got a lot of runs at 232.
It's got a governor on it. I'm gonna keep going on this. Is that all right?
Yep.
Just put yourself back in the seat. There you go. All right.
What's the background on this driver?
So Scott, he's got a lot of records. He's getting close to 300 miles per hour. He's licensed at 300. He hasn't been there yet, but he's driven for Pete for probably about 20 years.
Wow.
He also holds the land record for the fastest Volkswagen Jetta. He ran a Volkswagen Jetta out of Bonneville many years ago. I think he went like 250 in a Volkswagen Jetta.
Oh my God. I wonder
Yeah.
what that thing looks like with the air. I bet the aero package is amazing on it.
Yeah, it was actually Volkswagen was the one that hired him to drive the car. So it was actually a Volkswagen thing.
Wow.
But yeah. So what you're going to see here in the next step, we're going to get him out. They're going to basically send him off, and you're going to see a view of the push truck. And I don't know if you've explained that to folks, but the push truck is to get the car going because the gearing, it's like starting a car out in fifth gear, right? It's really hard to get a car going from zero in fifth gear, but that's the way the gearing is so high on it.
Yep.
So the push truck to get him going to about 60 miles per hour, and then he's just going to take off. And unfortunately, on this video, my speedometer didn't work, but you're gonna understand by watching the video how fast this guy's going. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, this is cool. You're actually in.
Yeah. Turn up the volume right there.
Okay, here we go. To Tim. Hey, Tim, how you doing? All right. Yeah, Tim, this is all Model A stuff, just slightly modified.
Had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so roll it back a little bit so you catch the launch.
You stay down.
There you go.
Watch out for the dog.
Okay, come here. Come on. You stay down. All right.
Nice shove on it.
Wait, it is too exciting. We got to talk about this for a second.
You got to watch the run and then talk about it.
Wait, okay, fine. Wait, but this is not salt, right? This is like sand or something?
It's a dried up lake bed. It's just dirt. It's like a hard packed dirt.
Dried up lake bed.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Wow, that was cool. I saw him pull the chutes and everything.
Yeah. Now watch this next part
awesome.
here. Just watch you met Pete, so watch Pete's reaction right here when they announce the speed.
Oh yeah,
watch
yeah,
this
yeah,
next
totally.
one. Funny.
All right. Oh, this is gonna be.
It's going to be freaking happy.
Yeah.
241.
Oh my God! Shit! Holy 41! I predicted 32! Oh my God! It's supposed to be 7! Pete did it! 41! Kevin! Oh my God! Kevin! That's that horsepower. When you ran the dyno, went from 620 to 786. That's how fast we would have gone there, right? 100 horsepower shot? Yes, sir! Congratulations, Pete! No more F-fords for us. Fastest ever here. Oh my God! At the same time. Oh, we're in there.
Pete, how does that feel?
Oh, I'm just pushing to a stop. Long time, right? It's a record.
That's awesome. Those guys are so excited. Oh my God, that's great. That's so much
That
fun.
was a fun weekend for these guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go out
hell
there
yeah. And this
You
is
know,
the latest.
people criticize
This is the
them.
latest.
Right.
Yeah, this is great. And so that was a V8. And that
That was
was
a V8,
300 cubic inches, you said?
300 cubic inches,
And so they broke-
786 horsepower.
So they
Yeah.
broke a 10-year-old record. So for 10 years, no one could do it.
Yeah, and no one's going to get it because the record was 226, and people were getting close to 226. But in order for someone else to go faster than 241, it's like impossible. It's not impossible, but that's going to be hard for someone else to go 241 miles an hour. Really hard. So
Wow. Yeah.
you put 14 miles per hour on the record.
That's amazing.
Anyway,
That's awesome. Yeah, and is that turboed or just at natural?
naturally aspirated. Yeah, it's natural.
Wow, no kidding. That's wild.
And Pete
That-
does- yeah,
that
Pete
race
does mess
fuel?
around.
Oh yeah,
Is it
good
what?
question. What's the octane?
Well, okay, so it is. I think it's like 109 octane. I think it's 109. I think is what they said.
It's $100 a gallon, Tim.
Yeah, no, it's not $100 a gallon, but it's almost as expensive of what we're paying for fuel at the pump here in California.
Yeah. That's wild. That's
What's
awesome.
what octane is jet fuel?
Probably pretty
jet
high
fuel is-
because that.
Well, jet
Closer to
fuel's
carrot,
like a
it's like-
diesel fuel.
Yeah.
So
probably
it actually would be a
super
lower.
high.
It would be a lower octane.
No, it'd be higher. Wouldn't it be higher?
Well, diesel's measured by setting, and so diesel
Yeah.
is like a 40 or 45, and so I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I think like gasoline and stuff is still more flammable than jet fuel, because jet fuel you got to have it hotter, heat it to ignite. I think gasoline-
methanol.
My understanding is that it's the higher the octane, the harder it is to light it. But once you light it, there's a lot of power there. So the diesel fuel is like harder to light. Same with kerosene, same with the jet fuel. But once you light it,
Yeah,
it's got more BTUs or something like that.
yeah, it's got
I don't
more
know how that
BTUs. More BTUs, definitely.
Yeah.
But if you were to take a teaspoon of diesel fuel and a teaspoon of gasoline and put a lighter to it, obviously you know what the gasoline's going to do, but you wouldn't be able to light that diesel fuel off with
Right.
a lighter until
Right.
it got hot. And I believe jet fuel is like like super refined diesel fuel. It's like between a kerosene and a diesel fuel. So
Right.
that's what I understood.
Yeah.
That's good to know. They say to take like 2-3 ounces of diesel fuel and throw it into your Model A. That's what I've heard. Just-
Oh, really?
Yeah.
the lubricity of
Yeah.
diesel fuel.
Yeah, just to get some more lubricity in it, you mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I know
all the good chemicals out of diesel fuel.
Yeah.
I know some people will run two-stroke oil in their older vintage cars too, like a two-stroke in the fuel.
Yeah. Just put a little bit of that 50-to-1 in just to lube it up a little bit, a couple ounces. So.
Yeah.
Now, how do they get the car back to the starting point? They tow it back? Is that what they're doing
Then
now?
they push it. Yeah, they push it back. You'll see it. They push it with the truck, and then the car. So here's the next part that's cool: is the car goes now to impound. They impound the car, and now the technical inspectors have to validate that the vehicle is truly that in its classification. So they measure the displacement of the engine. You're going to see it right here. The guy's using an instrument in just a moment there. He's putting it into the cylinder, and he's measuring the bore and the stroke, and he calculates it to make sure it does not exceed 305 cubic inches.
Oh, wow.
they
I didn't
check-
realize they. I
Yeah.
think it's good. I knew they tested you, but I didn't realize they do it right on the spot with a bore gauge of some kind.
Yeah, and then they'll check the fuel, make sure you're not running nitromethane. So they'll check the fuel. They'll check a few other things to make sure that you don't have any, if you enter in a fuel like a naturally aspirated class, you can't be running a blower or a turbocharger. So they're just checking things. They're making sure that all the stuff is where it's supposed to be, and then he signs the record, and that goes in the books. So
Wow.
that's how they do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then do they have to do a backup run?
Not at El Mirage. It's just one
Oh.
and done.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. But,
Any
a lot of people, so El Mirage, I was starting to explain to you earlier, Ron, El Mirage is actually more difficult than Bonneville because the course is only 1.25 miles long. So it's a mile and a quarter, and it's on. You
don't get the 7 miles from.
You don't get 5 miles to get it up to speed. So you really got to you have to have the gearing right, and you got to get your excuse my French, you got to get your shit together. You got to know what you're doing. You got to be able to get through the gears and get that car to terminal velocity in seconds. So it's a much more challenging run out there. And then it is. I mean, you mid-shift and you throw the whole run. Yeah.
This guy in the booth is wearing an Evie West hat. Do you see this?
Yeah, he is. Yep.
That's hilarious.
So that's impound, and they do the tech inspection. That guy in the black right there, he went 167 miles per hour in a 1-liter car.
Whoa.
Yeah. He talks about it right here. If you open up the mic, he talks about how fast it was. 1 liter.
What was your record? How fast did you?
We went 167 on a 140.
All right.
So we put 27 miles an hour.
Dang.
Almost put 28 on.
Derek's running a modified sports vehicle with an I engine, which means this thing measures in at 62 cubic inches of displacement.
The 62 inches of displacement is 1 liter.
Wow. And was it a motorcycle?
No, the freaking car is a Datsun 240Z modified.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I also want to give a shout out.
So cool.
Yeah.
This is good. This is good stuff, man. This is exciting stuff. I think it's good if the shop teacher coordinator is doing this stuff on the weekends. Was this on a?
Did you talk to the group, Ron, that we were able to connect with your class and the
that was cool.
Yeah, so we're trying to use this as a way to kind of get the kids excited about, I know this is like, watching your grandpa go fishing. There's a bunch of old dudes sitting around at the land speed racing, but we're trying to bring the young kids into it by,
Yeah. Oh, we lost
bringing
him
that car
away.
down to the school and letting
He's
them
driving.
work on it and stuff. So that's how we're trying to get the kids involved. So.
Nice. That's great. Yeah, that was fun. If you guys ever want to connect with Greg, you can coordinate with him, and you can bring some of these cars into the classroom because he's got them. They're working on one right now at what high school is that in San Diego?
Madden High School. Yeah.
What's this here at the end? Just extra footage?
That is, if you want to look at it, that's what a car looks like from the rear view camera going 241 miles an hour.
All right. Let's...
What was cool is how
Looks for
they didn't
many
really
years.
have to push them that long.
No, they don't. You'll see the push off. Yeah, he dumped the clutch and he was out of there because it's all about timing at El Mirage. You got to get that car up to speed as quick as possible. So it's hard. So yeah.
That was good timing.
I feel like I was just watching like a space shuttle launch.
Funny.
But was that tail fin like really seriously deflecting, or is that just the camera moving?
No, I think you saw the car was sliding over the racetrack. Every time it shifted, the car would dance. There's no traction. I mean, I don't know if you noticed how tiny the tires. It's just insane. It's an insane sport. I mean, I'm driving home right now in my Toyota Prius, and my Prius tires are wider than that race car tire. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
You got your plant 900. They run the biggest motor they run in. It's 920 horsepower, and it's got 3 inches of tire contact. on each drive wheel on the back, on dirt. So
Yeah.
you saw what you were seeing there was the car was losing traction, so it looked like it was deflecting. It was actually sliding on the racetrack. It
Oh.
was
That's
like
the wrong
just
one.
floating,
So now, are there brakes on it?
barely. Yeah, just two brakes on the back, but the brakes don't do anything on that car. We learned that the parachute failed last year at 236 miles per hour, and it took them like 2 miles to stop it.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
crazy. It's like stopping
Yeah,
a Model A.
Yeah.
So when Ron was out in San Diego, he got a good taste of this for the afternoon. So he got to go see behind the scenes and meet Pete
Oh,
and
yeah.
Kevin.
That was an awesome day.
Yeah,
That was so cool.
that was cool. That was
I
fun
wish I
hanging
could have
out.
made it. I wish I could have made it to the Bonneville dinner. There was just too much going on.
How'd
That's
that class
cool.
turn out for you, by the way, when you finished that? How was that?
Oh, that was great. The electric car class, we killed it.
Yeah.
People had a good time. I'm gonna do another one. I'm coming out.
So, Ron, that video right there is when you were out at JBA that day with us, and that's the car that they was trying to get to run, that engine. Remember that? They were having
okay,
trouble.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Yeah, and
Oh,
that was
yeah.
that sheet metal engine. It's 3 liters, and he was trying to get it running, and he just was having a lot of electrical issues with the computer and programming issues. And Pete, being 82 years old, he doesn't have patience for that stuff, and he just, he ripped the engine back out, and put the other one in.
Yeah.
So
For some reason it's blurry, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's what's cool. Yeah, I was at this place. It's wild to see it, It's crazy. That's awesome, man. What a cool thing, documentation of what's happening. That's great. So then, are they so you're gonna try and help them figure out the electrical coming up?
yeah, when the season is over, he's gonna put that 3 liter back in, and we're gonna figure out what's going on. I think there's something going on with the crankshaft position sensor, picking up some interference. And because we're losing the crank signals, getting really wonky looking above 5,000 RPM.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. It's weird. Sometimes there's multiple issues and then they kind of mask each other, so it's hard to see what's going on,
Yep.
That's wild. Cool, man. So yeah, I'll be out there early July. I got a wedding to go to, a friend's wedding in Colorado, and then I'm gonna head out and I'm gonna probably do a class, another class. Hopefully at EV West. This time we'll have probably more people, be a little more prepared, got more stuff, so that'll be good. And then yeah, that'll be awesome. And are you guys now? So in summertime, do they run programs or is it just shut down for the summer?
Well, we're running. I don't know if anyone else in the group has done this on the podcast, but now we're doing. I'm doing like these summer enrichment camps for career technical education. So we're doing one in culinary, we're doing an engineering, we're doing a construction, and then we're also doing automotive. But it's only like a 3-week summer camp, 4 hours a day for 3 weeks. Just kind of. So I don't know if anyone else on the podcast is doing anything like that at their schools, just to keep the kids interested. There's some funding from the state to do some summer enrichment. That's why we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What Tim, so what do you got anything planned for the summer as far as teaching goes?
Yeah, there's 2 things I got going on.
Okay, what's going on?
One is a summer enrichment program at my school where we're probably going to be doing some woodworking stuff. I don't know how many people are enrolled in terms of kids. I just know that we were approved in the board minutes last night, and I probably will have. It's probably going to be about 4-week, 5-week thing twice a week. So it ends up being about 30 hours worth of material I can do with the kid. So
Okay.
I got to figure out now if I didn't have if I don't have any of the kids that I had last year, I'm going to do the same projects I did.
Right.
But if I have one or two repeats, I
Yeah.
have to come up with something else.
What did
And-
you do last year?
Last year we made stools, like a footstool, and we made cutting boards. And I
Okay.
did them in about 11 hours. We did 11 hours in that.
Oh, that's cool.
It was 11
Yeah.
hours.
That's good. No bowl turnings?
No.
That's too advanced for that short amount of time, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. So I gotta start thinking about a couple things. I gotta start brainstorming some things what I might want to do with the kid for that.
All right.
I am kind of considering maybe like a live edge charcuterie board or charcuterie board.
What's a charcuterie board?
You know, it's
Can't
like
say it.
it's just like a platter.
Charcuterie.
Ah,
How do you pronounce it?
Charcuterie.
Okay, I still can't do that. It's just like a
Meat and
board
cheese on it.
where,
Come on.
where you serve meat and cheese on it.
Greg, you know what you're talking about?
I think so. Yeah. It's. You said if you put a bit different meats on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, meat, cheese, crackers, like that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
like a thing. That's really hot right
Yeah,
now.
it's a
So I
fluffy,
might,
fluffy hoity thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Don't. They just want to eat the damn meat and cheese. I don't care, right?
So I got that going on, and then there's a new maker space opening up in the town that I work in. Called I Create It. 1 to 2. They're starting with a basic woodworking thing, and I'm going to be running some woodworking classes there
Oh, really?
this summer.
What's it called? I Create It?
I Create It 1 to 2. I don't remember exactly. Maybe I should know that. Oh,
You sent me-
Create It Labs.
Oh. Send me a link if you can.
I don't think they have a website up,
Oh.
actually. I think they're not there. They're just starting this.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
And then I'm going to probably go up to Blackthorn again for.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here it is. I think I'm going to go up to the Blackthorn for the timber end with Justin Dietrich.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and make that.
I'll
Yeah,
come
we
bother
gotta-
you one day, Tim.
What do you say?
I said I'll come bother you one day, Tim.
Yeah. You got to pay this year to go.
You didn't have to pay last year?
No, this year you have to pay.
Oh yeah, I thought you had to pay last year too. So Greg, this is a
don't
timber
know.
framing event,
That's cool.
and it's gaining some popularity by us to New York State, and they bring in Justin Dietrich from Illinois, and all the makers that they bring in are like from around the country. It's pretty amazing. It's kind of like, it's almost like a little more hardcore version of what Maker Faire used to be. Maker Faire was a little bit, Maker Faire was a little bit on the, low budget, not so, more of the learning side of things. This is like actual timber framing, and you participate,
Is it competitive, like teams, or how's it done?
I don't know. That's a good question.
No, it's not competitive at all.
Okay.
Basically, it's more of a team thing, and the teams are like you'll work on like a post, and then some people will work on a truss, and some people will work on a something else, and then
Ping post or something.
yeah, they'll end up putting them all together, and then tweaking it where they got to tweak it to make it fit, and then they assemble it. And it's this year they're doing a bridge.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So last year we did a pavilion, Greg, and everybody that was there, minus Justin and what's his name from Florida, Cow Dog Craftworks or whatever. Nobody
Right.
really had timber framing experience. So everybody's just looking at a set of SketchUp plans, following those plans. Everything went together. magically, and very little tweaking had to happen during Makers Camp for that to go up.
So how long is it? Is it like a week long, or how long is it?
No, it's just a weekend.
A weekend, and then
Timbering in the summer is just the weekend. That preps all the
And then
timber pieces for Makers Camp in October.
and is
Oh,
it
that's
when you're
neat.
saying this Makers Camp, whatever? Is this for like teachers or just anyone who wants to do it, or how's that work?
No, it's a work. I've been a presenter since the beginning of it. It's basically a Woodstock for makers. It's a very open, airy feel as far as, bring what you can, teach what you want. And I mean, the first couple of years, it was literally people were bringing, like Jimmy Dress's sister brought her jewelry making stuff and just plopped down on a picnic table and was starting to teach jewelry making to anybody that wanted to listen.
Okay.
So,
That's pretty
there's
So
metalworking, there's forging, there's what do you call it? Chainsaw carving. That that's demonstration. That's not hands-on. But then they smelted metal last year from raw materials and smelted it through a homemade smelter. So it's an eclectic,
That's cool.
It was
Collection.
cool. You could do forging and stuff.
Who attends it though? Who's the atypical attendee that participates?
Good question.
Is it like is it for teachers or just anyone off the?
I feel like it's all craftspeople.
Anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone. It could be anyone. Literally, it could be anyone. Like, you can come in and learn how to make a pen. You can come in and learn, like you said, forging or anything. So it doesn't matter who you are, as long as you have an open mind and you consider yourself a maker, you can learn.
Yeah.
They had powder coating. They got a guy doing what's this called, guys? When you
chainsaw milling.
slabs or something.
Chainsaw mill.
Chainsaw milling. So they're like making the table slabs, and then it's kind of a relaxed environment. A lot of the people from the podcast showed up, and we all got together. That was cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it ends
awesome.
up being like kind of a get together. Yeah,
I have not made it up to a makers camp yet. That's on the list, but I was at the Timberin last summer.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. Tim, you got pictures from the Timberin? As just on your Instagram, maybe?
Yeah, they might be on my Instagram. Probably
You
a
didn't
couple
have
of
many
them.
on there, if I remember right, Tim. But
I don't know if I had many up.
Greg, what's cool is that you see they made a dinosaur looking what's this called? Rocket stove.
That's what I'm looking at. That, yeah, it almost looks like something that would be out at that Burning Man out there.
Yeah, this is kind of like that in a way.
that's what
at the end.
inspired it.
And it really got going at one point.
How many people are there at something like this?
This past year there was probably 500 to 600.
Wow.
That's it. Felt like
Still
a
quite
thousand.
small, and but
That's pretty cool.
a lot of legwork, and Sawstop's going to be there this year.
Oh wow.
Rod Beck is going to be there again with grinders, 2x72 grinders for the blacksmithing and forging end.
You could just walk up and start forging. No big deal. That was cool.
Cool.
Yeah. And this is the timber frame they made. It wasn't at the Maker Camp. Well, it's located at the Maker Camp, but they didn't do it at the Maker Camp.
That's
They did it on they did it on a different time. I didn't know what the hell a timber frame was. I didn't realize it's actually like literally timbers, and then they just like literally hand carve it and make sure it all fits together. They had powder.
Yeah.
Just joinery, that's all it is.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
It's big
Yeah.
tables.
they
That's
had. Yeah, it was
Hey,
cool. They had powder
Cody.
coating.
Uh,
Sorry, what'd you say?
Greg, the thing about the structure there, Austin and his employees poured the pads, and it was here's the dimensions, and it always unnerves me when people pour before actually knowing actual. As you can see there, some of them were a little off. I mean, there's enough on there to support it, but
Oh yeah, it's not in the center of the pad.
yeah.
It's off the end. Yeah.
But yeah, for a group of, I don't know, what was there, 20 or 30 people there that weekend for the timber in last year?
Mhm.
Well, that's pretty cool, though. I mean, the reason I was asking the questions. Like how many people, who attends. It'd be a cool. Like we have these opportunities for our teachers to get professional development, like in the summer. So I wasn't sure if it's something like I could send one of my construction teachers to, and that would count towards his, PD, or something like that.
Well, that's what
if you
Justin
could.
does. He's a shop teacher out in Illinois, and he applies for PD for teaching the timber in, and then when he comes out in the fall, he does PD. Then as well, I apply for it so I can get the Friday off.
That's cool. When does it normally happen? What month?
Columbus Day weekend.
Columbus Day?
Yeah, Columbus Day weekend. So Friday
Yeah,
through Monday.
maybe there's enough time. Maybe I can get one of my teachers to go, next year.
Wow.
What state is it in? What state?
New York State.
New York, in the
New York State.
Catskills.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I didn't know what it was. And so I was like, all right, let me go. Because Nick was like, I'm going. I was like, and Tim was going. Everybody was going. So I was like, all right, I'll go. And I went. I was like, your eyes are like, oh my God, I want to try this booth. I want to go to this booth. You just try everything. And then by the time you're exhausted, it's nighttime. And then you just
People are working until 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
just keep going. There's no like rules or anything.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
awesome.
my power just went out. Gone.
Are you guys in a storm right now or something?
Actually, no, we're not in the storm. Just a little windy, but it's not raining or anything.
Oh, okay.
They're getting you ready for rolling blackouts. So they can charge you more money to fix it.
Yeah.
Just get ready. Just get ready. So this is a pretty cool thing. And then the Timber Inn is going to happen in July, right?
Yeah, 22nd and 24th.
But I see that it will include your ticket to the thing. Like gives you a hotel room.
Yeah. Most of the classes that they do here at the Blackthorn, minus the free like hammer-ins and whatnot. Typically, when you pay for your ticket, it includes your room and your meals for the weekend.
Nice. Greg, I'm just gonna mute you for a sec because for some reason there's a loud clack noise or something. Just unmute yourself whenever you're ready. Okay. So it includes the you get to stay there. If you go to tickets, click on tickets, and then tickets are sold. You get a B-level room at the Blackthorn Resort with meals included and entry into the Timber Inn for the weekend. That's pretty cool. So basically, you get the hotel room, and then the Timber Inn's free, and it's the 2 days, right?
2 or 3 days. 2 or 3.
Yeah. Oh, so it's 3 days, 2 nights.
Yeah. So 22nd to the 24th.
Yeah, that's really cool. Interesting. That is awesome. What else you got planned? Nick, you got anything planned? Are you gonna be teaching anything over the summer?
That's the thing. I do so much during the school year as far as the light and the sound. My next hurdle before the end of the school year is to figure out how to live stream our graduation with 4 cameras.
Oh, and you got to do that this year?
Yeah.
Oh my God. There is you could talk to. There's a teacher at my school that does that. He live streams the whole thing and he can control it from remotely.
Okay.
And you could have cameras on remotes and stuff with kids manning them. You got to talk to him about it. It's Alex Polynice. He's a good dude. If you want the info, I'll send it to you.
Sure.
I don't know if you need it. I could put you on a group chat or something. That's what I should do. That's pretty cool.
And then, in the past, I've done the enrichment stuff in the summer, and I don't know, 1 or 2 years I did it. For me, it was, I think we made catapults, little smaller catapults, and then like a 6 foot tall one, and the amount of effort to go into the planning and implementation, it wasn't worth my time.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's crazy. It's sort of crazy to teach in the summer as well as teach during the year. You need a break.
Yeah.
But it's always different teaching during the summer anyway, because there's no bells and whistles and announcements and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like just for fun, and I find people are more relaxed or whatever. I used to do it at the NJIT had like a 7th and 8th grade enrichment thing or whatever. I did it for a few years. Then I was like,
Was that like their summer program enrichment, NJIT?
Yeah, it was like Zushma used to do it, and so he was like, "Oh, do you want to do it with me?" And I was like, "Okay." So
yeah, 2 guys from my school used to do it also, and then I think they gave it up this year or last year or something.
Yeah, it's okay, but you're kind of like running around a lot, and although it is 4 days instead of 5, there's no Fridays.
That's how ours was.
Yeah, which I don't understand why everybody works on a Friday anyway. Just give us like one more hour, and then that's fine.
I don't know if you saw my post earlier, or probably Sunday. I think I posted it about the Great Race.
The what?
The Great Race. The antique cars.
Oh, cool! Really?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I think you tagged me in that.
Yeah, because I figured you might be close enough that you would want to.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think they're going up. Like they're coming like across the top of PA, like way up north in New York area, and then they're coming.
But I figured Montgomery. I didn't know if Montgomery would be close enough. That's their lunch stop on Sunday, on Father's Day, and then they stay in New York until like Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, no, that's not near me.
Yeah, I didn't know if like I said, the lunch stop on Sunday is in Montgomery, which is like near Orange County Choppers.
Oh, that's cool.
So, but my buddy's been doing it since he was in 12, so almost over 30 years he's been doing it.
The ironic thing is there's a Montgomery in New Jersey, but they're nowhere near each other.
Oh yeah, that is funny.
Maybe eventually, I like to check that out, like the Great Race, and see that eventually down the line. But they're a little bit out of the way for me to get to see them this year.
Yeah, that's the thing. They change every year. Like last year, they started in Texas and went to South Carolina. Some years it's only the West Coast that they drive into the Rockies type of thing, and then back over to the West Coast. So it constantly changes. So, but it's just amazing to talk to my friend. Him and his father do it, and he's the navigator. And he's got the directions for the day. He's given them in the morning, and that's his planning time. He has like an hour and a half to plan, but he has a big time or a clock that he has to watch, and his father watches a big speedometer. That's all Great Race, calibrated and all that. And if the directions say, all right, drive 55 for 4.4 miles for 35 minutes, and they go up a hill, my friend Doug is figuring out, all right, you drop 45, all right, when you get to the top of the hill, do 65 for 35 seconds, and then drop back down to 55. To keep your time at 0, because it's like a golf score. I don't know if you know anything about road rallies or not.
No, I don't know how they do it.
That's crazy that they got to figure out the physics in between that.
It's amazing. And
to get where they
to have to win a stage for a day, a day of travel, you're going anywhere from 0 to 5. That's what typically wins a stage. 0 to 5 seconds. over the whole day, and you don't know where the checkpoints are throughout the day. And so you could be rounding a turn and you're 10 seconds back, checkpoint hit, your clock restarts to 0. And typically, you know, my buddy, they've always had older cars. He had a 1911 Veely before the 16 that they're running now. So the older the car, the more of a handicap you're given. But it should pop up one of his pictures. You know, but he's up near Rochester, and you know, I think they have 20 or 30 different antique cars, and we took the Veely up to Rochester City. They are a 1911 Roadster racing through the streets of Rochester, New York. People are looking at you.
Yeah. That's
What
awesome.
so what were you saying? What kind of Roadster was it? A 1911?
Yeah, 1911 Veely is what they used to use. Now they're using if I remember right, a 1916 Ford Climber, if I'm not mistaken.
What was the first one? A 1911 what? I got cut out. A 1911 Buick?
Veely. V-E-L-I-E.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So I
that's
think
cool.
they won, Howard and Doug won back in 2019 is the last time they won. They've won 4 or 5 times grand champions, winning the whole thing. This thing, there's high school class, novice, sportsman, expert, and then grand champion, I think, for all the different classes. But it's an expensive, you know, adventure because you have to put the bill for every hotel room. You have your sport truck with a trailer full of tools. And I remember one time with the Veely, I had to fly somebody in from, I think, Colorado, wherever their night stop was, with a bag of tools on his lap on the plane to be able to fix the Veely overnight.
Oh my God.
I mean, you know, they only had 1 or 2 people that they knew who had parts that they could call during the race, overnight parts to them.
That's crazy. I don't know why it's blurry, but maybe it's some restriction. I'm not sure. So what now? How did you calculate this race? Tell me that one more time.
So you're trying to go for a score of 0. You don't know where your checkpoints are, but you're given a set of directions with how fast you need to be going, where you need to turn right or left, and how fast or how long you need to be staying at that speed. So if you're traveling up a hill, you know, you're trying your best to stay at speed, but my friend navigator is watching the clock and watching the speedometer and saying, okay, you dropped to 35. We were supposed to stay at 55. All right, make up that time we lost on the downhill, jump it up to 55, 65 for 45 seconds, and then slam on the brakes and get back down to 45 and maintain 45 again.
Because you don't want to go over the amount?
Yeah, because you don't want to be plus 0 and you don't want to be minus 0 where you're too fast.
It's like bracket racing.
Yeah. And every minute for 125 minutes, I think there's 125 cars. That's the release in the beginning of the day. The stagger, you know, the start time.
There's a Hudson.
So I remember one of the stories they told me. They were sitting at a 4-way stop and there were regular cars in front of them, just, you know, 2 or 3 deep. And Howard keeps looking at the clock, looking at the speedometer, like, "You gotta go." He just drives across the yard. You get back on time. Like, you do what you have to do.
That's funny.
I was gonna ask a question. Now I don't remember what I was gonna ask you.
Sorry.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All vintage class cars, or is that just different classifications that people run?
If I remember right, it's 25 years old and older. I want to say it's 25.
Here's the divisions.
Yeah, but it would be the age of cars. That's what I'm.
Oh.
All right, I know what I was going to ask. Can
what is
you pass? Can you pass somebody?
But you shouldn't have to, unless they're
Right.
broken down on the side of the road.
Right, because if you want to stay at 0, then you technically are always going
Unless
to
you
be
fell
following.
so far behind, you yourself, had to pull off for something to check something real quick and then get back on the highway and somebody passes you. Yeah, then technically you would have to pass that car in front of you. But
Right.
in reality, you shouldn't have to pass anyone.
This guy explains the whole thing. This is rally school. But not rally school, like not not what you're thinking.
That's the thing. I think a couple young 20-year-old girls won it as far as winning the whole race last year.
Wow.
I mean, they've been, their parents or their mother is a racer as well, so they've been around it.
Yeah.
But they do, I want to say spring and fall rallies throughout the country as well, just as, refreshers and just to keep themselves up to date as far as, their skills go and everything.
This is the route. So they start in Rhode Island.
Yeah, this year they're starting in Rhode Island.
They're going through New York. They're
And
going
it's all
through
back
Connecticut,
highways. They
New York.
try to stay off of any major roads.
The big part of New York. They skip Pennsylvania. They hit Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, big part of Wisconsin, and then Minnesota.
Yep.
And then bam, Fargo, North Dakota. There it is. And then how do you get back? You got to drive this whole thing, or someone trailers it back for you?
Well, that's the thing. Your sport vehicle is a car trailer and your sports staff. So,
Oh, your
like,
support. Yeah.
they drive it from Fairport in the trailer out to Rhode Island, and then your support vehicles cannot be anywhere on the race course at all. The route. You can't have any access to your cell phone during the race. If you do, then you're queuing yourself for the day.
Wait, you can't take a cell phone with you?
You can, but it has to stay in the lockbox. You cannot look at it. The only two things you can look at are your speedometer and your time clock that is
Wait,
in
why
the vehicle.
can't you use the cell phone? I don't get it.
You don't want to. You're not allowed to do that because you
would
can call
cheat.
your sports staff and
They
say,
could
"Hey,
cheat with the GPS.
that," and it's mainly either calling for support with your support vehicle, or scope out the course quickly and
What? Yeah, you could check the traffic report, or
Yeah.
you could what? Can't you run a blocker like Smokey and the Bandit?
What if they wanted to take a selfie?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh man. Who's gonna DQ you? How would they
So if
even
you-
know?
if you put on last year's recap, you'll see the mix of cars.
This is
So that's the
day
day 3 recap. Click on their channel. It'll
Are
probably
you
be
casting your screen, Ron? I don't see anything on your screen.
Oh, let me try again.
That is a Model A on the poster, just so you know.
Let's see. Can you see it?
So how do you radio your support vehicle if you need them or you can't?
that's where if you do, you DQ yourself for the day. Like typically, you try to fix it on the road. If you can't, then yes, you fall on your sword for the day and you call in support.
What about like a CB radio? Can you use that? Or no?
Nope. And when you do call for somebody to come pick you up, it's one of Great Race's sponsored trailers that come and pick you up. So
Huh.
you don't back out on the road.
Wow. Oh, look
Because
at
you
that.
know
Blair.
somebody's called for support, and then they put the car in the trailer and then just drive it.
That's funny.
One year when they started out in
2000.
Detroit, I went out with my friend's fiance and we went to the start in Detroit and we were able to go to the Henry Ford Museum. That was a neat experience. At that time, you could still drive across Canada, so we went the easy route. We went off the end of New York through Canada into Detroit that way instead of around the lakes.
That's cool. There's a lot of, it's a lot of driving.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And
I'm a
it's
car guy,
long
and
days.
I can't sit in the car that long. I got to get out.
But these, the nighttime car shows and the lunch stops are, when you can stop and talk.
Oh, look, they
So
got the
there's
Blues Brothers car.
Yep.
Cool.
There's like a military vehicle in there this year, this last year. This has been in for a few years. That vehicle, I forget what that one was.
So you're gonna watch them go by?
No, I'm gonna go to the lunch stop and hang out with my friend and his father for the day
Lunch stop?
Or-
Oh, where's that?
in Montgomery. New
Oh
York.
yeah.
That's not far from you, right, Nick?
No, it's about an hour, 40 minutes south.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And that's where the Orange County Choppers is, right?
Yeah, roughly in that area.
It was. Now, are they gone? Is it over?
I don't know. The building's still there. Last I saw, the restaurant was still going, which
they
is
have a
in the same
restaurant?
building.
Okay, interesting. Did you ever go see Paulie Jr.'s place?
Not where he is in Montgomery itself, in the Main Street area. I've driven by it, but I haven't went in. We actually had a association meeting in his first shop a few months ago as an industrial visit. It was a company who makes lifts for pharmaceutical canisters to dump in like the powders to make pills. They make all the pharmaceutical lifts.
Huh.
A lot of stainless and TIG, welded and everything. It was just interesting to see, how the building and the current person who was giving us the tour is like, yeah, we constantly get people stopping in to see Paulie Jr. and like he's been gone for 10 years.
Oh, I see. Oh, wait. Because he used to work there or something? Wait, I lost you.
When Paul had his first shop near the old Orange County Steelworks when they first started the show, which it was like 2 doors down from Dad's steel shop. That shop is where we had a association tour. They make pharmaceutical lifts for
I got it.
gallon drums or the totes of powder for the pills. Whatever company decides to purchase
That's
those
good.
lifts.
Greg texted me. He said he got bumped off, but he's got to go anyways. But it was good seeing everybody.
So this weekend in outside of Allentown here in Pennsylvania is the Antique Truck Show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to that on Friday.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna go hit the swap. I'll hit the swap meet for a little while, and then go check out some old chain drive trucks and these obscure trucks that you usually never ever see. And it's a good time. It really is a good time.
That's awesome. And where's that?
It's in a town called Macungie. It's like outside of Allentown area.
And is it American Truck Historical Society?
Let me pull up the link. I'll send it over to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Send it over. That's pretty cool. I'm teaching this weekend my electric car class and my welding class, but then there's only a few days of school, and then I'm on a flight to Colorado. That's it. Going out for a wedding, so things are happening pretty fast. I can't believe the school year's over. This was a wild year. We weren't sure what was happening. Oh, and now we got this beautiful recession talk going on. A lot going on, man. It's like the nonsense never ends.
Didn't feel like the end of the year for me.
Yeah, how come?
Well, I don't know. It just didn't feel like the end of the school year. Like,
yeah, it was weird, right?
Like they checked out over a month ago as far as participation wise.
Yeah. Oh, look at these cool trucks. This is awesome. That's great. Should I bring my Ranger?
Yeah,
Oh, look at it.
they'll have old Mack. The people have a bazillion Mack trucks there because Mack truck is made
Oh,
like
look at this thing. This
there.
thing's so cool. Divco. Divco Detroit. I bet you that thing's electric.
Like they'll have the like stand drive stuff. They'll have chain drive stuff. They'll have like those old haulers, army trucks, rat rod trucks.
Wow.
The Model A in that one picture there.
Awesome.
Jeeps, like El Caminos, like you name it. You
Look
know,
at that thing.
yeah, it's crazy the stuff they'll have there.
That is, and they're all, look at that wrecker. That's pretty cool. And they're all in good shape. Oh, the Jeepster. A Ford F100 or whatever it is. The trucks. You know that Zushma used to sell fire trucks? He was a salesperson.
No,
Yeah. Ask him about it next time you see him. Yeah, he knows a lot about fire trucks. Look at that guy's cowboy hat. Damn. Whenever you see the cab over with the flat front, I just think Terminator. You know?
yeah, I'll see a lot of those. There'll be a lot of those there, a lot of old ones.
Look at this thing's rotted out.
It's just so cool. Like the old like auto cars.
This has Vermont plates. No wonder there's rust all over it from the salt. Oh, wow. Look at that. That is in good shape. Oh, nice. F1. What is, jeez.
That's a Model A.
Oh, this one.
No,
No,
the other one
this-
before that one. But that one. But there's
Yeah.
guys, and there's these guys that have like they have the whole shebang. Like they have the truck, they have the trailer, they have the implements that go on the trailer. They have like all the nostalgia stuff. And they set it all up. It is just amazing. It's amazing.
Oh, man.
Hold on, Josh.
That is rough. That is rough. This one's even rougher. It's not on the road. Whoa, what is that? I've never seen that. A Rio?
REO, yeah.
Huh. Cool. Yeah, I have all these Matchbox cars. I got every single one of these.
A little water on them, they'll grow.
So that's this weekend. It's always Father's Day weekend.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean,
yeah. Trucks. Oh, wow. What the hell?
Look at that.
What's in there? Are those,
Looks like potatoes.
is that a dummy load? Oh, it's potatoes. Jesus. Oh, look at that one. Dude.
It's a long bed.
That's nice. That is
Come on, you know the new ones are all. Everybody wants the short beds. That's what everybody wants. Short beds. They don't want long beds.
Yeah.
That's
I have a 6-foot bed and it's fine.
I've never seen a Ranger with an 8-foot bed.
There
That
are.
would look weird.
What?
So that would look weird if a Ranger had an 8-foot bed.
I've seen them. It
Have you?
has it. Yeah. It's a thing. Crazy. It looks weird though. It's like super long. This is cool. That's a T, right?
That's a T. Yeah, that's a T.
Nice. Why do they call it a T?
That was the letter he was at when.
Just his iterations.
Yeah.
And then he restarted it with the A
Back
again.
to the A. Yeah. And the next one was the B.
And then they just stopped it. They didn't go C, did they?
No, there was the V. He went right to the V8. So.
Oh yeah.
And then I think it was. I think he went to numbers.
Oh. Oh, I see. Like F100. You know. I could just look at trucks.
Don't forget July 3rd if you want to come up to East Durham for Jimmy's go-kart.
Oh, when's that?
July 3rd.
July 3rd. Oh, I won't.
He's got a go-kart thing going on. Is that what he's building?
Yeah. He has it. Well, he bought the go-kart track from Austin's family across the street from his rented shop. And every 4th of July, the last 4 years, you bring what you can and run around the track because he only kept the 2 go-karts from the old business.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, I didn't know that he bought the go-kart track. I thought Austin still owned it.
No.
Jesus, that truck's on top of the truck.
Do a lot of people show up to that?
The first year, like 1 or 2 people brought go-karts and like 15 people, 20 people showed up. Last year was a little bit smaller for obvious reasons, and it sounds like Works by Solo Bernie Solo from Michigan is going to come all the way out with a go-kart. He's working on one. There's a guy up in Troy. He built one the first year with a snowmobile engine and slicks, and he was ripping around the go-kart track.
Awesome. I went a few times to the Oakland Valley, and that's good. It's worth it. It's old school. Oakland Valley was cool.
I had my uncle's go-kart, and it had these Clinton engines on them, and couldn't find any parts for any of them. Couldn't get them to run.
Look at this one.
Literally gave it away.
Look at this. Is this like
That's
the
a
first Mac ever?
I don't know. Is that a Mac?
Yeah.
Is that a Mac?
Yeah.
Does that say Mac?
Yeah.
Looks like it.
Yeah, that's got to be like one of the first ones ever. Wow. And who was Mac? Is that a dude?
I think it was John Mack. I think that's who it was. They were building buses, and then they got into trucks.
Similar chassis, right? Here's a Mac. Surprised Mac never got into cars. Different market. Jeez. So these are all going to be there. It's so cool. Are you going to bring your Model A?
No.
Is it needs work or something?
No, I just don't feel like sitting there all day. I'll go there.
Oh, yeah. It is. When you go to a show, it is a lot of work. You have to, like, show the car.
Yeah, you got to, like, sit there, set up, and, get your lunch or buy your lunch. And
yeah.
It's an all-day commitment. Make sure the car's running.
Oh, yeah.
A couple days before. If you got to hose anything off of it, wipe it down. I'm not one of those people that got to clean it every 5 minutes.
Yeah. I had to get the Fiero ready for a show a couple weeks ago. It's a work. It's a mad dash to do it. And oh wow, look at that. Was there a movie theater inside? So cool. Oh man. So if you could have any one of these trucks, what would you get? Which one you guys like?
I don't know.
It's too hard. It's overwhelming. There's too many good trucks.
I don't know enough about them.
Yeah. I would like a Model H, pickup truck. That'd be fun.
There's no leg room. You're taller than me.
Oh yeah, there's no leg room, right?
There's no leg room.
That's awful. My Ranger is kind of like that.
There you go.
That's cool. The Power Wagon.
I would go that route. I might go Power Wagon like that.
Yeah. Dodge Power Wagon. What the hell is this thing? Oh my God. Is that a Kenworth? Damn. What is happening here? This is like so many things. This is crazy. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna just kill the recording there. All right, so that's what's happening in the summertime. Shop.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people doing stuff. It's just it's just hard that schedules and things like that. I didn't realize that today was Wednesday until I got home and I was like, wait, today's Wednesday. Oh wait, the podcast is tonight.
Yo, you know what? I tried to coordinate a guest, and then I waited because there was somebody who said they would do it, 2 people, and then they couldn't. But next week it's scheduled already on the calendar. An AI expert. This is going to be out of the box. This is a guy who like works with the government. Like he understands AI at a whole different level. Let me show you a little clip. Let's see. Oh. JT Kostman. He took one of my classes, and then he's like, yeah, Google me, check it out. So I was like, when someone says Google you or hey, Google me, I'm like, really? And I checked it out. It's no joke. This guy is like artificial intelligence like mastermind. He's got like a firm all with offices all over the world, and he explains how AI is going to develop and why it's relevant to the everyday person. So I thought that would be important, especially being shop teachers, because the Internet of Things, like all our stuff is going to be connected. So once all our stuff's connected, then the AI is going to be a factor. But he knows it better than I do. So anyway, we got this guy coming on next week. You could prep by, checking it out. Look at this crazy photo. Look at this. Business adopting AI.
Now I'm a novice in this AI, so like, does that include like the cars that identify the lane that the lane you're in? Like, is that considered AI?
I think if it's learning,
I would think so.
Yeah, if it learns, which I think Teslas do learn. I don't know. This guy's gonna know way more. I'm not gonna pretend to know any of this stuff.
So the guy across the hall from me that teaches computer science, that's always his thing. He's always talking about
invite him in. Invite him.
Everybody needs to know coding. Everybody needs to know, I guess, computational thinking and that stuff. And this kind of goes hand in hand because a lot of these cars now, you need to just be able to troubleshoot code to see why something's not working. And if they can't troubleshoot the code, then they can go to the sensor and say, well, the code reads right, maybe the sensor's bad. Right. Now everybody's going to the code first, and then they're going to the sensor. Instead of the old ways, they're going to the sensor, and then figuring it out back from there.
Well, so it gets crazy. So check this out, right? So from what I heard from people that work at Tesla, they said that, let's say you call in a complaint, they already know what your problem is before you arrive. And so they already buy the parts and they get them ready. Now, don't get me wrong, it probably doesn't happen all the time, but they're trying to reduce service. It's a kind of a chicken or the egg because they don't have good customer service. Like you can't call them and like talk with someone, but they also have minimal problems. So they like if there's something that happens, the computer will alert somebody, and then there'll be a trouble code or trouble sent basically back to Central. So just imagine like your car is talking back to Central Tesla all the time.
Well, that was like a couple years ago. I was in the middle of switching cable companies, and we can pick 2 different cable companies in my area where I'm at.
This is JT Kostman. Go ahead.
I remember the lady was saying something along the lines of like, well, what are you watching on TV? I'm like, why are you asking me what I'm watching? I said it to the lady on the phone. You know what I'm watching. Matter of fact, right now, you know what channel I have on. And she says to me on the phone, I have no idea, sir, what channel you're watching right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're full of it. I'm like, you're full of it.
Yeah.
They can track what you're watching.
Oh,
they
yeah.
know what you're watching. They know what time you're watching. They know all that stuff. So
yeah, it's just data, Oh, speaking of data, I do an exit survey for my students. I do a fully anonymous exit survey that's not graded, and I put wild stuff like, hey, like, how'd you even find this class? Choice one, I wanted to take the class, or B, the guidance counselor put me in here. I have no idea why I'm here, or C, whatever. So I do all that stuff, and I just keep data because nobody's keeping data. Like, the school doesn't care what the kids have to say after a class, and most teachers don't care either.
I usually try that, but this
All
year
right, Nick, I'm gonna mute you for a bit.
I tried that.
Just
I
unmute
usually
when you
try
can.
that.
What?
I usually try that, but this year I didn't. It was just
Are
literally
you done?
survival.
Are you done already? Yeah, me too.
No, I'm done.
No, you're not going to school tomorrow?
I'm done Friday. Friday was
So you could still put out an exit survey and get some data.
no. Last Friday I was done.
Oh, no kid. Oh, you're done, dude.
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, that's why you don't know what day it is.
Yeah. So in the past, I have put out surveys, but I've learned with surveys, they can't be too long
No. Yeah,
and they
otherwise-
can't be too open ended because
Right. Yeah, only a few open-ended questions. Otherwise,
they're
forget it.
too long, you don't get the data you want. That's beneficial,
Right.
If it's too open ended, they don't want to answer it.
Yeah, they're not going to answer. Yeah.
You
My
know?
my open-ended is like, oh, if you could work on any project with Mr. G next year, what would it be? What do you want to do? Basically. Okay, if you'd make an improvement to Mr. G's class, what would it be? And then it'll be like, you'll get the don't grade us, or it'll be something goofy, but then they'll also be like, oh, I thought we were going to do this and we didn't cover it, or there'll be some pretty intellectual, intelligent things said, and it's great because they're not going to tell you unless it's completely anonymous. They're afraid to speak up, but in this case, I let them know it's all good. You could say whatever you want on there. I don't care.
Yeah, or they answer the questions and it's like, what can a teacher do to help improve the class? And they write nothing.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't give me any feedback.
Yeah. I always ask a question. I ask them, was Mr. G's grading policy fair? And even though they complain about the grading, it's always like a 90% yes on whether it was fair. So then I'm not going to change the grading system if it's fair. It was fine then. Even though they complain, I'm like, okay, well, but you guys liked it. So that's it. So, and I have the data. So then when kids complain, I can pull up the data, be like, hey, look, all these kids said this. So, what now?
Yeah, I mean, I got to the point where at my old school, I was really tracking that. And then when I shifted schools, I stopped really tracking it. And I really stopped getting that data I needed. And I don't know why I stopped that.
Oh, you could easily forget. I almost forgot at the end of last year. I wanted to know what they thought of online last year. And because we did a whole year online. And I only got 28 kids to fill it out because I sent it out really late. But I did get some feedback. And they basically said, that I can't remember exactly, but it was basically that in some cases, online makes sense. And also they don't like the anxiety of the school, like the bells and the rigidness and the pain that you got to get there in the morning. And I'm like, okay, that's a valid concern. If you do well online, then just stay online. And the school never gave them the option. So I feel like they're missing out on a whole demographic. There are kids, I'm friends with parents in California that they send their kids completely online, pre-pandemic, nothing to do with the pandemic. And these kids excel. They're almost done with high school and they're going to graduate 2 years early. And they're fine. They're fine. But it's not going to be everyone. I would never even say that that's everyone. I'm going to say like 5 or 10%, but that's a lot, you know? So like, I think that the schools need to get the feedback going to know what the kids want to do. And then if you know that, you can make adjustments, you know?
Yeah, they're changing our bell schedule next year. So
Oh, really?
that's going to be another. I mean, that's another thing. They changed our bell schedule this year. They called it a transition schedule. Next year is going to be, I guess, a more permanent schedule. So it's going to be a whole learning curve again for everybody.
What are they going to do? Is it a different start time or is it a different like length of the class?
Different length of classes.
Oh, mine are 40 minutes. What are yours?
They're going to 40 minutes.
What were they?
Well, pre-pandemic, they were 55 minutes, which was
That's
awesome.
good. That's
And
good.
then this year, they were 43 minutes and 42 minutes, depending on the period. And then next year, they're going to 40 minutes.
Wait, why are they reducing it?
Yeah.
That was an I don't know, and I understand the look.
They have a rotating period. We're gonna have a rotating period, a rotating schedule in the morning where it's gonna cycle like A, B, C, D, but period D is gonna be 48 minutes on that day, and then all the other periods are gonna be 40 minutes. So every 4 days you have a longer period with your class. I don't know how planning.
Good luck.
I don't know how planning for that's gonna work.
People just decide stuff.
There's 84-minute classes, so you can't complain.
Did they even ask the teachers if that was a good idea?
Yes, they did ask. And the schedule, I was on the schedule committee this year. I was on the schedule committee for that. And it literally was split down the middle. Some people wanted the old rotating schedule back, which was 55 minutes. Half the people wanted that. And of course, the people that wanted it, tech, art, music,
right,
band, right? We all wanted 55 minutes.
Stuff where you do stuff.
Yeah, science, right? Math, English, history,
reduction,
language. They wanted the short periods every day. And
case in point,
what loses out?
Maybe those classes should be online.
Yeah, I mean of course that's out of my realm of.
No, I know, me too. But like, why not just give us the 2 hours, and then have all the classes where you actually do not need to be in person, put it online. You know, have the teachers come in if they feel they want to or whatever. I don't know. This is like super I'm out of the box. So, I'll just say stuff. But I mean, math, do you really need to be there? What if there was like a math lab? You could come in and get help, tutor lab. But then, why not just give the extra time to the teachers that need it, like art, shop class, Wow.
Yeah, I agree. I was one of the people that wanted like the 48, 50-minute classes. That was my realm, and it was really tough to see how it all transpired. And I think it was split on the committee there, and there was a lot of stakeholders in on the committee. They had students on the committee, they had teachers, they had staff, they had supervisors, administrators, principals. They all were on these committees, so it wasn't like they picked just random people to put on it. They literally thought out who they were putting on it, and it was split right down the middle, like literally 50-50. It was split 50-50.
Wow.
And when it's split like that, that's where administration now has to come in and put, kind of play the upper hand, or, and play their cards. And they did, and they made the decision that they felt was the best. Now, I don't know if it was more of a random selection of people, if it would have been that way. But the selection that we had, it was a 50-50, or it was like 49-51. So, I mean, it's like,
so with the data that they're not taking, one of the data points should be, as a student, did you enjoy having longer classes or shorter classes? But they're not going to ask this question. They just don't collect
actually
data.
was a weird time because they had, you had a truncated year, 2020, right?
Yeah.
1920 was truncated, so you had a full year. You had full class or long classes. Then you had, then the year stopped. Then you were in a hybrid schedule, or you were full remote, right? Or you were in person. And then that was a hodgepodge of classes. They were an hour, which was great. And then this year was short classes. So I feel like any of the stakeholders that were involved, either you were too young, you were too novice, or it was just a hodgepodge that no student could give you a valid point.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't give you the feedback because you weren't comparing apples to apples, if you will.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because it's kind of a revolving door. So, they just pass through.
Yeah.
What about Nick? Nick, how long are your classes?
We have a modified block schedule, so some of the core subjects are 40 minutes every day, but I'm 84 minutes every other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
84 minutes every other day.
So I am gonna try to fight for upper level courses. Like I have a 3rd level wood manufacturing class. I am trying to try to see if I can start finagling a double block.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I don't know how that would look. I don't know what it would look like. But I think if they're going to want any substance out of these upper level courses or any type of big things happening, like I made 20 cornhole boards this year. Like I can't do that in 40-minute periods. You can't. You just can't manufacture something like that.
No.
You need time. You need constant time. You need time on task. Because it would take 15 minutes to set something up. It would take 15 minutes to break it down. And you only have 10 minutes to work.
Yeah, 100%. I have a double period, and it took me. I'm on year 17. I just finished 17. I think I've had that double period for about 4 years now. So it took me like 13 years of fighting. It was ridiculous. They really don't, realize how important that, that double period is. You really need that.
So with a double period in my schedule, because our schedule flip-flops and rotates around, you may not see the kids back to back certain days. So like you may see them first block in the mornings, last block in the afternoon. You'll see them twice that day, but it wouldn't be for a steady time.
Yeah.
See, like other days you see them for a steady time.
See, like this is a UTV. It's Bobcat branding, but I think it's Suzuki. I don't know. Anyway, so they asked us to do something. We put this. That's something else. But we put this. Where the hell is it? Oh, here. So we put this joystick that controls the plow that they attach on, and they had nowhere to mount it except for a plastic dash, and they break it. So we made this thing. It took the whole year to make that thing because the kids are making it. Drilling accurate holes, machining, slotting, which is drill and then sideways, which you guys know, and, making sure it fits right, assembling it, drilling it into the thing, Oh, Bob Kelly's here. So like you need time to do all this stuff, So what's up, Bob? How you doing?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm just I'm actually at the mechanic dropping my truck off because the brakes. I don't think there's any brakes left on my wheels.
Oh yeah, you need those.
I need a Shop Class podcast to help me out.
Yeah. You need more than a thermal brake.
Yeah, I do.
You need an actual brake.
Pardon me, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Wow. How have you been?
Yeah, we're good. We were just talking about the end of the year and projects and modified schedules and things happening next year. Yeah. So, but how are you doing? How's the Wickrite systems and all kinds of stuff going on?
It's really interesting. I've got a new potential client. Planet Fitness.
Oh, really?
Planet Fitness. I went down to Nashville a week and a half ago because there's a guy who does mold abatement, and he said, "Man, we're working on the same wall the third time, and their walls are about 200 or 300 feet long, right? Because it's an old grocery store.
Uh-huh.
So they've got this extreme environment on the inside of high humidity, people spewing out fluid,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
from their breathing. They got these dehumidification issues and air conditioning, and it's a swamp outside in Nashville, right?
Yeah.
I went down there, it was like 95 degrees and 100% humidity.
Wow.
So anyway, so this guy introduced me to the project manager who does their construction in Tennessee. And he's like, "Well, okay, sounds good to me," this Wigwright system. And then we talked to the guy who writes the checks for Planet Fitness, and they realized that after a few conversations, like, there's nothing else to choose from. How do we get the water out of our buildings? Well, you have to vent them.
Yeah.
And so there's 3 in around the Nashville area. There's another one who called. The word's getting out. So another one is in North Carolina.
Wow.
We're all talking about one in Miami and another one in Mississippi.
So that's your winter jobs.
Yeah, right. Good winter jobs, right? Exactly. But what's interesting is that, okay, you guys, I might ask you guys to stop being teachers and come work with me, okay? Because what's really interesting is that the building envelope is either 8 or 10-inch CMU, metal bar joists, pan deck, corrugated pan deck as the roof sheathing, right? And then your typical insulation, if you're going to have internal drains or a big, long sloping roof from front to back, and that's insulation for the roof, but that's not insulation for roofing. It's insulation for pitching water, okay? So can you imagine how many of these structures have been constructed over the last 50 years? The same building envelope over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, our schools are basically the same way, as far as the, insulation pitch for the flat roofs and whatnot.
So I'm kind of jacked that I might have found my virtual gold, the bucket of gold.
Nice. Yeah. How many of there's so many, right? Jeez. And
I'm sorry?
No, does Planet Fitness own their buildings?
No, that's the thing, is that they've got to figure out how they're gonna pay for it. So I priced it. I think I priced it high enough to cover my ass. So it's about $300 a foot to install a new coping and the venting, and the vent panel behind the TPO. Oh, by the way, they all have TPO roofing too, right? And so
what's TPO?
TPO is Tribe Polymer, blah blah blah. It's a white plastic roof, basically.
Okay.
So the guy who writes the checks told my guy, he said, "So how am I supposed to pay for this? This is ridiculous." He's like, "Well, what choice do you have?"
Yeah.
And this is to remediate mold that is gathering in these workout gyms?
It's to remediate the water that's building up inside the CMU walls of the structure that causes the mold.
So the CMU is what? A novice.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. So it's basically cinder block. And so it's smooth cinder block. And what they do to waterproof it, quote unquote, is they give it a coat of elastomeric paint, like a rubberized paint. And then they run the roof over the top. So now the entire envelope is sealed. There's no pressure release of vapor. So I've done about 100 buildings like this now in Chicago. Not like this, but similar masonry structures. And so what's interesting is that I found that one droplet of water, solid water, when it turns to vapor, I'm gonna give you guys shop class teachers a quiz here, okay?
Yeah.
How many times does water expand to become vapor?
Ooh, good question. I don't know.
Hold on. Let me ask my science teacher wife. Hang on.
Okay.
He's asking.
Phone a friend.
Isn't there a game show like this? Ask a
Yeah.
friend or something.
Yeah. What was the question again?
How many times does a droplet of water expand in order to become water vapor?
Okay. Oh, her response was, "Oh."
A shit ton?
She's thinking. Hold on.
Okay. Na 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 na
Yeah.
na.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
I got your website pulled up here.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, I
Hold on.
have. Okay.
Hold on. She says, "Do you know the answer, Bob?"
I do.
Okay, hang on. She doesn't know the answer, but she said something about intermolecular forces, and that just blew my mind away.
She's right.
We're in Star Trek mode.
The answer is 1,600 times.
Oh, wow.
1,600 times.
So a drop of water takes up 1,600 times the amount of space.
Drops of water takes up 1,600 times the space.
When it turns to vapor.
As a vapor.
As a vapor, she says.
So
She said cool. You just impressed the chemistry teacher.
Wow. Well, thanks. I never did good in chemistry. Geometry was my thing.
She said because you didn't have her.
Well, yeah, of course. So imagine the vapor pressure.
That's your new. Hey, Ron, that's your new word, intermolecular force, like thermal break.
Intermolecular force.
That should be your new word.
Thermal break so much easier.
Thermal break. It's a thermal break with intermolecular forces.
Intermolecular forces. Okay. So I'm looking at these observations of like you could see where the cinder block is wet on the website. You know, there's a lot to learn about how to get rid of all this stuff, and people don't do it. They just trap it, right? That's what happens.
They trap it, so they're trying to keep the water out, but they're not thinking about two-way vapor transmission.
What about the dehumidifiers? Don't they run dehumidifiers or no?
Yeah, but you'll never catch up.
Yeah.
And then what about the air conditioner units?
They can't keep up. There's too much humidity in the air.
So
they're struggling to control the loads.
So like the dehumidifier is trying to pull out the air, just the regular ambient air, the moisture in the ambient air, and it can't pull out past that. Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly. Right, because the pressure that's exerted on the envelope, especially on a hot day, and the sun drives all that water vapor into the structure, it overwhelms the system. So every time that we've vented a building, the mold smell goes away, and I've had several clients remark about their heating and cooling costs going down.
Oh, look at this. This is like inside what's happening.
Oh, that's actually a computer simulation that we did to find out where the greatest point of suction happens with our flashing. And what happens is that I thought that the wind would actually pass over the top of the wall and then create like an eddy, almost like circular kind of suction down low.
Right.
But what really happens, you guys, I think my girlfriend just showed up to pick me up.
Okay.
What happens is that follow my finger. It goes like this. It comes off the top of the wall and swings back. And actually, the negative pressure happens at the top of the wall.
Oh.
So we had it measured. An average wind speed in Chicago was 18 miles an hour. The suction at the top of the wall is negative 7.2 CFM, and that would happen 24/7.
Wow. No kidding. Which part is the negative, the green or the yellow?
I think the green is the wind flowing.
I see. Yeah, that's interesting.
So if you set up a fan, like when you set up a fan in in the gym, is that basically that's really not doing anything for that moisture? It's just moving that moisture throughout the building or throughout the space?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not
So-
cool. What makes you feel cool, from my understanding, is that you're venting. You're venting, and when you do a phase change, when you go from a liquid to a vapor, it cools down. It feels cool.
Yeah, exactly. Dehumidification. Dehumidification is what keeps us cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's less humid.
See,
Yeah.
I never, ever would have. Well, first off, I don't work out, but I don't think I would never would have thought about this. How do they deal? How do they deal with this in an indoor pool?
Oh, it's so humid. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
But how do they deal with this in places like an indoor pool?
They don't. They just get mold, and then they have to rebuild. Right? Am I right, Bob? They just let it happen.
I think they just, I mean, I don't know what else they would do actually. But if the building envelope is full of water, then it exerts so much more pressure on the interior environment that I'm not sure if they can recover from it.
Take a look at this for a second, Bob, if you can.
Sure.
This is something that we were looking at my school. This is my school, and this is the garage door where we operate out of. But this here is above one of my closets, and it is there's not much of a slope there.
Okay.
And also there's all this like broken, concrete here and whatnot. And Mark looked at this, and in one instant he goes, "That's sloped wrong, and it's not vented. You need Wickrite."
Yeah, he's right.
In an instant, he said that. Now I went and took some photos, and I'm going to show you what this looks like from the inside. This is what it looks like on the inside of my closet, underneath what I just showed you.
Oh, hubba.
Yeah, it used to be worse. There used to be running water on that wall.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that they didn't. The way they fixed it was they just poured concrete on top.
0.1 miles. Turn left.
Okay.
So you busy? You got to go, right?
Yeah, I do. But you guys, it's always a pleasure to see your smiling faces.
All right.
Hey, by the way, Ron, I'm dying to learn how to weld. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna try and make that happen this summer.
I would love that.
That would be cool.
All right, Bob, that was awesome. Thanks.
And I'll pay
All right.
triple. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Have a great
All right,
night,
Bob.
guys. Thanks so much for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, like, hey, what's up, Duke?
What's going on? You guys are still on, huh?
Oh yeah, we're gonna wrap it up soon. But basically,
You said that an hour ago.
We've hit all different types of topics tonight.
Yeah,
this is like a hodgepodge of shop class podcasts.
Yeah, we've done it all.
We talk race cars, old trucks, schedules, vapor
this?
barriers,
Look at this.
wicking,
this nonsense.
concrete, you name it, we've talked about it.
Timber framing.
Timber framing,
Yep.
making stuff, we talked about that. So
I got
Yeah, what do you got? What do you got for us, Duke? You got to follow us up. We covered everything.
I got nothing.
Summer boat.
Yeah.
I got nothing. But there's a car show at like one of the bars down the road. They had some pretty neat cars. This guy came in the bar Saturday. He's put some work and he's got like this old like 33, 34 rat rod. But anyway, he works for like the power company. His buddy has a Model A.
Oh, cool.
This thing is like mint, but it's like a reddish color.
Huh.
Well, I don't know. That's like what, 33 or 34 or something. There is nothing wrong with it. But he got into an accident or something, he said. And what, the battery's all different? Couldn't get like a connection or something. But when they fixed the frame, they painted over. So the battery wasn't grounded. Had to ground it to the frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a nice looking.
They're positive ground. Model A's are positive ground. I don't know if the next Model B was also positive ground. I think it was.
Did you ever hear this rumor about the ground being a certain, if it's negative or positive, it affects how it rusts? Is that true?
I don't know. I just know that a lot of the older cars are positive to ground. I don't know.
And then they swapped it. How come they swapped it negative ground?
Selling point,
Nick,
I guess.
I
don't know.
I feel like Nick knows this answer.
No, I don't.
Oh man.
Oh, Nick is stumped.
It had to be probably had to be a selling point. They
Yeah.
probably were running the battery in a spot where they couldn't do it the way they needed to do it, and they said, "Well, we're going to try it this way." That's probably something that happened.
Yeah.
So I learned something new this week. There was this big Model A convention in Morgantown, Pennsylvania, that I was at this past week, and the Ford style of numbering a part is basically still the same as it was in the 1900s.
Wow.
They still use it. Like if brake parts are like a 500 series, like brake parts now are still 500 series. So like if you go to 1963 and you need a brake part, it's going to be 500 series. Now, don't quote me if that's brakes are 500. I don't know.
Yeah.
Using that as an example. You know, if the 300 series was generators, then 300 series today is generators, and 400 series is this. It's still that. It's just amazing how it still has carried through over 100 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
Interesting. Yeah, so I learned that.
Well, Ford, it's funny. Ford is Ford and Tesla are the only car companies to never have to declare bankruptcy and ask for, like a bailout. So Ford, they're on point. That place is doing well. I mean, I know that they're probably going to struggle a little bit coming up in the transition to electric. They don't have to go 100% electric, but the transition, and but Ford knows what they're doing. I mean, dude, my Ranger must have 300,000 miles on it. It just keeps going. It's unbelievable what it. If you got an old Ford truck, that thing will go forever. Except for Timmy's truck, that probably falls apart. No.
Yeah.
I got a 150, but my frame is like a Swiss cheese.
Oh, geez. Yeah, you're in Salt the Roads area.
Yeah.
I have no frame rails on my bed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, Duke, you got an F-150?
Yeah.
I have an F-150 also, and my whole back is all rotted and rusted out.
Mine's old, 2005.
The metal's thin. You notice the metal's thin on the newer trucks, right?
Yeah, cut weight. Fuel content.
What about the aluminum trucks? I think Ford's doing that, right? The bed is aluminum.
No, the whole truck is aluminum. My F-150 is a 2013, and that was the last year was steel.
Oh wow, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Aluminum. That's pretty cool. Then you don't have to worry about the rust. Jeez.
But it rusts the same.
Oh.
We have a E1 fire truck that's all aluminum. Frame is steel, but everything above that is all aluminum, and it bubbles under the paint.
Really?
Yeah.
The
aluminum
aluminum
still oxidizes.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Huh. That's wild.
And then it reacts. The aluminum reacts with the steel when they touch.
Yeah.
I'm curious how that material science is stuff that's pretty interesting to me too. So how did they figure
Well,
that out?
Something you can, I'll tell you on a simple level is that, one of them's got more electrons than the other. So they want to transfer. And if you get any salt water in there, there's your electrolyte. So it's trading, they're plating each other. They trade. They actually like if you make a penny battery, they're sending copper onto the nickel or vice versa. So it's kind of like plating, but unintentional. So there's an imbalance in the electrons. One's higher than the other, and they want to balance each other if they're
Right.
touching.
Yeah, so I guess they have some alloy that they use for these trucks now that's different than, straight aluminum. It's aluminum, but it's not like aluminum.
Yeah, you have to. If you mix it, it's good. It locks it up a little. It's almost like stainless steel has iron in it, but it's locked up in the nickel. Anyway, Duke, how was the end of the year, man?
Good. Everything went smooth. It was nice, actually.
Okay.
Finished it up half day Friday,
Oh,
and then we've been off.
wow. No kidding.
I had to go to school though Monday to really
Wrap it up.
wrap it up. It was I walked in there. There's race tracks everywhere. It was a mess. I brought my kid with me because he likes the race tracks, But then he found a scooter. He's like, Dad, why don't you tell me about this? So then he's riding around the classrooms, Next thing you know, he's making friends with all the custodians, bringing stuff into their room because they're cleaning out the classrooms. Oh, look at this pen set I got. Look at these crayons I got. From who? Sal. I'm like, how do you know these guys? Oh, look what Kyle gave me. I'm like,
That's funny. Does your kid still rock the mohawk?
oh yeah, yep.
That's awesome.
Next one, he
I had
says
my
he's leaving it. He's going longer because he wants to put spikes in his hair.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
I hit the school today. It was actually more of an impromptu stop. I hit the school today with my kids. It was a good 2.5 hour, keep them busy for a while.
Oh yeah.
So it was good. I was able to do some, light cleanup with them around.
Tim, you done?
I'm done. I was done last Friday.
Nick, are you done?
Kids are done Thursday of next week, and graduation's Friday.
I'm done Thursday of next week, but what happened is the 23rd. I don't know. Yeah, the 23rd. But what happened was they extended our school year. So I bought a flight for the 23rd because I got to go to a wedding in Colorado, and I bought the flight, and then they extended it. I'm like, oh, what? You can't extend it now. And the way they did it was because of an election day on that Tuesday. They just all of a sudden were like, oh, we're not going to have school, so we have to add it to the end of the year. Everyone was like, what are you doing? We made plans, So I'm just going to have to call out sick or whatever,
It's already the longest year in history, and you guys got to go until the 23rd or 24th. It's crazy.
Yeah. But I remember staying longer in some years, so 26 and stuff like that. So I'm glad that it is what it is. And then just wrapping up some projects, and that's it. Mad Dash, we did grades today. I just got to check them in the morning, and that's it.
I don't understand the Jersey schools. You're done last week, or you're not done till the 24th.
Yeah, there's some
nobody's
schools,
done this week.
Yeah, and then we always we start after Labor Day, but you guys start before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I start
weird.
before.
Why? I don't know why they do that, because then don't you start and then you have all of a sudden you have I guess one day off. Just a Monday.
But it's actually nice. It's actually nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because so when
You
you
get 4
start a
days
week.
and 4 days.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
It's 4-4-4 usually.
But we do a weird start. So what we do is we do 2 staff development days and 1 half-day Friday. They always do this every single year. So the kids come in for no reason at all. We're not going to do anything on a half day. I guess it's just to say hi. It's like a hi day. And then See you Monday for real. Whatever. So it's kind of silly, but
Does it count? Does it count for a day? Then don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
I know it counts. It counts. All right. Well, I'm gonna kill the recording here. So I mean that's 2 hours right there. All right, Shop Class Podcast next week. AI expert, legit.